The first edition of my book came out on 2005, and in some way it was a quite unexpected book because nobody was thinking about the 1990s like a history. But my point was that we can speak about this period like a kind of history that are behind us, but the history that is so important when we are thinking about the future. And this book, this edition, was very successful, and she was nominated for the best work in the literary scholar book competition. And but later I started to thinking that something I missed, and what I missed was a kind of continuation of this period, a kind of epilogue to this period. And I prepared the next edition, a new edition that was more than twice larger, and I added also the commentary from the end of postmodernism, because what I wanted to show that the period of postmodernism, especially in Ukrainian literature and especially in the post-Soviet time, has some kind of beginning and has the kind of the end. And this was period from the Chernobyl to the beginning of 21st century. My commentary was also about how this postmodernism was perceived, was accepted, how the people situated themselves within this situation or outside of it. And it's giving me a chance to look back and to think about the modality, about the differences of the literary trends, of the literary works and styles, and also about the worldview, about the formulation of the consciousness of post-totalitarian consciousness, especially in Ukrainian literature as well. The central event, I would say the symbolic event that I refer to is Chernobyl. To my mind, Chernobyl had a very, very big influence on the situation, not only in Ukraine but in the world, because it is a global event. It's an event that shows that we live in an era of nuclear catastrophe or nuclear age, and we should be aware of that, because when we are talking about the nuclear age, we are talking about the end of civilization, about the end of imagination, about the end of literature at all. So I started to thinking of Chernobyl like some kind of symbolic event, and even more a kind of dramatic event at the end of 20th century. And I tried, one of my idea in this book was to present Chernobyl like a dramatic event, to show it in the chain of the other dramatic events of the 20th century, like Holocaust or Holodomor in Ukraine, like the World Wars. And these dramatic events, they require us, they demand the response from us. We should respond to this situation. So this post-traumatic situation was very essential for this period. When I visited Chernobyl, I also visited a library at the school, and I saw many books that are under your foot. You can go. They are abandoned. They are not necessary for anyone. And I felt a kind of pain because it was about the culture, about civilization. So I started to think that Chernobyl Chernobyl has give us a challenge how we can save the culture, how we can save the cultural archives in whole. And I see the tide Post-Chornobyl Library like a metaphor of the literature that was endangered and at the same time that's saved. And I also see this literature like a list of authors, of text, of topos, of motifs, of characters, and so on, that can give us impression about the dynamic of this time and about the richness of this cultural archives that we have.